chose to elect a candidate to represent it in the constituency. So the MPP already has a candidate. The NDC has 5 contestants going for the primaries to replace the late McNaza, a member of parliament for Ayawaso East. One of them is his widow, and another one is a member of parliament former for Akwetia and current Ghana High Commissioner to Nigeria, Baba Jamal. Let's speak to Musa Dankwa now. He's Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. Musa, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you.
I think I haven't spoken to you since you predicted accurately the NPP primaries, which happened exactly a week ago tomorrow. Congratulations on that. I promised to drag you to the studio and punch you, but it turns out you are the one going to punch me.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk, but even before that, I've seen speculations or media speculations suggesting that you have said Dr. Bawumia would not win against any NDC candidate. Is that not too early to say, considering we don't even know who NDC is going to field?
Umaru, if you look at that report, it came from the December 2025 National Tracking Poll, where we lined up the top 4 NDC candidates against Bawumia and Kennedy. And we asked them, if 2028 elections were between Bawumia and these candidates, who would you vote for? That was the question. So the responses that we had, in all the 4 scenarios, all the NDC candidates were leading Bawumia, but with various degree of margins. You have Atuforsin doing 58% to 38% for Bawumia. Haruna Idrisu doing 56% against Bawumia's 40%. Asedun Ketia doing 53% against Bawumia's 45%. And then you have Julo Debra doing 50% against Bawumia's around, I think, 46 or 47%. So those were the views of Ghanaians in December if they were to vote in 2020 to elect a new president. So it is not by view, it is the views of the population.
So this is not about 2028, it's about 2024.
No, 2028.
But my concern is there are so many factors that are considered in election.
Don't be concerned, because they made that decision based on the current circumstances. This poll will not end. It will continue until the real candidate is elected, and it will continue from there.
Very well. So it's not static. It's not static.
No, it is not. It is not.
Very well. Let's talk
about the time we spoke to them. That's what they said to us.
Let's talk about tomorrow. 5 candidates in the race, NDC internal primaries. How many times did you go to the constituency, and how have things been shaping up until this final decision that you believe the delegates have made?
We've been to Ayawaso East twice when the seat became vacant. But we just published the final one we did yesterday. We also sampled the delegates who are going to cast their vote tomorrow to select one of their own to lead them in the by-election. So what we have done is to see first the general voters of Ayawaso East. Who would they prefer to lead NDC into the by-election? When you look at that data, 58% of the Ayawaso East voters prefer Hajia Amina Adams to lead NDC in the by-election. Baba Jamal Honorable, 32%. Mohammed Ramni, 5%. Dr. Yakubu Azindo, 3%. And Najib Muhammad Sani, 2%. That is the views of the general voters. However, when it comes to the delegates, on all delegates model, Mohammed Ramni is on 3%, Hajia Amina Adams 34%, Baba Jamal 22%, Yakubu Azindo 3%, Najib Muhammad Sani 1%. And 37% at the time said they were undecided. Now, when you apply the committed model that we've been doing regularly, when you use that model and assume that those undecided will break away in the same way as the race, Ramni goes to 5%, Haji Amina goes to 54%, Baba Jamal 35%, Yakubu Azindo 5%, Najib Sani goes to 1%. So that is the current race in Ayawaso. However, as we always do, we do provide our own prediction based on what we know. Exactly the same way we did for MPP primaries, to distribute those who are saying they are undecided based on their earlier responses to other questions, which we believe will give us the chance to glean their real intention.
Okay.
When you do that, using the question of whether Hajia should contest or shouldn't contest as a proxy, the model shows that Ramni gets 6%, Haji Amina gets 50%, Baba Jamal 38%, Azindo 6%, and Najib 1%. So you could see that even on the other model, Hajia is still leading. So far we've run three models, and she's leading. But when you use another question, which is whether she was, the party was right in denying her virtual vetting, those who answered yes and no, using as a proxy to appropriate those who are undecided, then the race looks like this: 5% for Honorable Ramni, 54% for Haji Amina, Baba Jamal 35%, Yakubu Azindo 5%, and Najib 1%. So on all the models, all the angles we looked at, Hajia tops, and it's very likely, very, very likely she'll win tomorrow.
Okay, so all the models show that Hajia is in a comfortable lead based on everything you have seen. So the headline is that based on what you have heard from the delegates, Baba Jamal will lose to Hajia. I mean, Baba Jamal and the others will lose to Hajia, the widow.
Correct.
Okay. Let me again be sure. So the people you spoke to, generally you spoke to people in Ayawaso in the earlier polls, but then you went narrowed down further to speak specifically to NDC delegates, and then this information you have is from NDC delegates. That's why you trust it.
Yes.
About how many NDC delegates did you poll?
About 907.
Out of how many who would be voting tomorrow?
About 1,100, just around 1,200 or less.
So this is nearly 100% of the total delegates.
No, it's quite no. It's not even about the size of it. It's the randomness of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the larger the size, the more accurate it can be, right? I mean, sample, of course, is a smaller number, but the fact that you are almost getting 100% of the respondents all being the delegates, then that's as exact as it can be.
Absolutely.
Because you could have been working with 100 or even less, and you would have still have a proper sample.
Absolutely.
So, wow, this is serious. Now, there's another angle which you have just talked about, where you ask them whether Hajia should run or not, and I'm sure that's due to the Islamic issue where a woman who is a widow ought to be indoors for 4 months and 10 days after the death of the husband in what is called the Idda. This has generated lots of discussion, with many people saying she ought not to go out to campaign because she has to be indoors for that 4 months, 10 days, as has been prescribed by Islamic tradition. Now, we have been told that she requested to do a virtual vetting. The party did not agree, so she had to go in person. Do you know what people think about that subject matter? Have you polled them on that as well? What they make of a woman in Idda contesting for an election, and also generally how she's even going out to go and campaign and all of that? Because this afternoon I saw a video of Baba Jamal asking NDC delegates to help her go back into her room to perform her Idda.
Umaru, let me tell you something. We asked the general voters whether it was wrong for Hajia to contest. 66% of NDC voters disagree. So they don't think she should sit in she shouldn't contest. And when we ask the delegates, 58% of the delegates also disagree. So both the delegates and the party folks disagree with that call, which means that people are pushing a narrative that is not selling, and they're still pushing it. You know what that does? Among those who are voting for Hajia, among the general voters, when we ask them whether their votes were influenced by the way they feel she's been treated, among the general voters, 43% of them said they were voting for Hajia because of the way they feel she's been treated. Among the delegates, it's about 15%. So she's getting 15% of votes that she wouldn't ordinarily would have gotten. Now, when we ask them about whether the party was right in insisting that she should come to the vetting in person, both the delegates and the voters in the constituency agree that the party was right. So they have given the party its right to do whatever they had done, but they disagree with them, or those who are saying that she shouldn't have run. I think they miscalculated the demography of Iowa East. The fact that it is 74% Muslim and 70% Sunni doesn't mean that they are hardliners. So they had miscalculated that, and they were pushing that narrative, and pushing that narrative is rather driving people to vote for her rather than away from her. So somehow they shot themselves in the foot.
Interesting. Now, so tomorrow you are putting on your neck on the line. I mean, all things being equal.
My neck is tired. I have put it on the line for several times.
Maybe you should put your fugu on the line. I think you cherish your fugu so much, your blouse. Maybe you should put that one on the line. And so the headline again tomorrow when the NDC is done. Is there a margin of error?
About 3.2% margin of error.
So you are predicting Hajia to pull what percentage margin of error? 3.5.
No, if I go with the 54%, I think that is where the numbers will be plus or minus 3%.
So it means that she could get 57 plus or 51 or 51%.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you go with so that is so either 54% or anything between 54% to 57 or anything between 54 to 51%. That's what you're expecting her to get tomorrow.
Yes.
And what are you expecting Baba Jamal to get?
I think his highest will be around 38%.
38%. So lower than that will be 33%. Margin of error of 3% thereabout.
Yes. Yes. Umaru.
Umaru, but Sunana Umaru. Nam.
Umaru.
Nam.
You know, generally, 20% of NDC delegates are women. Generally.
Okay.
But in Iowa East, that number is close to 35%.
All right. Does that mean anything?
Oh, yes, it means something. Whereas Baba Jamal and the rest of the men and the lady are sharing the men's vote, the female delegates are doing one logo line.
Obana. Wow. Musa, if what you said tomorrow comes to pass, I'll buy you Balongo.
Balongo is so expensive.
That's what I can afford. That's what I can afford. But thank you and wish you all the best. I will pray for you again as I always do.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's Musa Dankwa, Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, rejecting my Balongo. And Balongo, by the way, if you don't know, is Suya Day. In case you don't know what Suya is, I think these days they call it kebab or roasted meat. Some people call it abochi. Either way, he has rejected it anyway, so I'm not giving him that. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. AJB, why are you looking at me? You want it?
Yeah, I'll accept the suya. So
but you are not a pollster.
It doesn't matter.
Make your prediction.
I'm a journalist.
So predict so that I'll give you suya.
No, I'm not predicting.
Suya, do you
I'm
like?
reporting on what Musa is saying.
Yes. Do you like it on the stick or you want it in a cement paper?
The stick.
You don't. The cement paper one is nicer.
Not the cement paper, Sanda. It's not good for our health.
Which health? Let me bring messages that are coming through before I go to the NDC National. Akapo Junior and Hafomim says, Cocoa Board and the government must find solutions to the plight of our cocoa farmers. They are going through a lot due to the failure to access their money from the PBCs. We'll be talking about that in a bit. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandema says, as the NDC prepares for its Ayawaso, its parliamentary primaries, it is imperative that all aspirants conduct their campaigns in strict adherence to the party's core values of unity, discipline, and mutual respect. This contest must not become a battleground of personal attacks or indiscipline. Send your message to 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. That's the WhatsApp number. On Twitter, now known as X, you can send your message by mentioning my handle. My handle is at Umaru Sanda, Umaru with a U, or at Citi 973. That's CITI 973. Blueprint in Esikado Kitan sends a message and says, if not for an unfair body politicking, then how on earth should anyone at all in the NDC contest that we do? But what I know is that MPP is snatching the seat from the Ayawaso East constituency from the NDC. You can send your message to 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Imagine making or collecting all payments without leaving your chair. Sounds like magic, right? Nah, it's Stanbic Pay.
As the Chief Financial Director of SBA Holdings Limited, payments from clients flow like magic through Stanbic Pay.
From school fees to utilities, government and statutory payment to investment, insurance payment, Hajj payment, and more. Just log on to Stanbic Pay and you're set for life. No Stanbic account, no queues, no stress, no last-minute panic.
Cherish your time and live happier in safety and convenience.
Just visit stanbicbank.com.gh or call 030-340-9212 or 055-676-0683 to get started.
My friends, I'm a very happy man. Let me share my testimony. I needed a home at a prime location, but I didn't have enough money. The little I had was too small to buy even a studio apartment, but a friend of mine introduced me to invest to own from Priority View Homes. I invested the little money I had for only 2 years. True to their word, at the maturity date, I qualified for a 2-bedroom luxury apartment at a prime location in Accra. Now look at me, living in my own home without the usual hassle. If you want a stress-free home to live in, I would advise you to sign up to their investor-owned policy and say cheers to a new home. You may call Priority View Homes Limited on 055-588-2294, 055-588-2294, and you will never regret you did. Priority View Homes. There's no place like home.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Tomorrow, the National Democratic Congress will go to the polls in Nima, Ayawaso East, to choose a parliamentary candidate for the by-election following the death of the Member of Parliament for that constituency. NPP already has selected, instead of electing, a candidate. Rashid Tanko Computer is Deputy Director of Elections and IT with the National Democratic Congress. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
My brother, how are you?
I'm well. How are you too?
I'm terrific.
Before I ask you my question, I saw last week on social media that your colleague Mahdi Jibril has been elevated to be Director of Election and IT. Was that correct? And people were saying, oh, what happened? You have been sidelined. And people were laughing at you, actually.
My colleague Mahdi, he was my colleague. We were together as deputy directors, working together, and we are still working together. Of course, we support his elevation to act as a director for now, since we lost our boss. Don't forget, I'm the CEO of GFEC, in government, busy with government activities. Of course, naturally, it's my brother whom I'm too pleased, so he should act while we continue to do the work together.
Okay. So you don't feel pained at all that you have been
the two of us, and Atabuaten, Dr. Atabuaten, and Yaira Koku were the able people who supported Manebuama to demolish MPP. We are still there, so we'll still work together. The legacy to still continue to pursue it as we.
Very well. Let's talk about tomorrow. Nima, what's happening? What's the plan?
Very well. I mean, we are set for tomorrow. Yesterday, we met the 5 aspirants with the Ghana Police Service and Electoral Commission. All the logistics needed for the primaries duly presented to the Electoral Commission and then the IGP and his team. I mean, they are taking control. The police are taking control of the security for tomorrow. We are doing it at the Nima cluster of schools. That's where we are going to do the primaries. And then we've asked the aspirants not to bring their personal security there. We don't want anybody to come and say, come with my security details. No. The Ghana Police Service are going to take charge of the police tomorrow. That's why the General Secretary issued a statement today. The Electoral Commission will also be given all the needed logistics for tomorrow. And I can assure you, they've all pledged that we are going to have a very peaceful. In fact, we've done it several in the constituent, and it has been very peaceful. So we don't expect anything tomorrow other than being very peaceful, transparent, free, fair primaries. And that is what we are expecting tomorrow.
You have over 1,000 delegates coming in to vote. Do you have a time period for the voting, or as soon as everybody's done, you close? How do you do it?
No, we start from 7, then end at 4. We are ending at 4 p.m. We are going to have several voting centers at the cluster of schools so that to speed up the process. But we are hoping that by the time we end 4, everybody would have voted.
How are you dealing with the results and people who may not be satisfied with the outcome?
Well, what is happening is that normally, if you are going to have difficulties in primaries, it starts from the delegates list. But interestingly now, we don't have problem with the delegates list. We are using the old delegates, the one we used in 2023 for the primaries. It's the same delegates list we are using. Some have passed on. We are not replacing them. And then all the delegates, the 5 aspirants are aware of those who have passed on. And then so we are not replacing that. So we just put red pen to cancel those ones. So the issue of delegates list, that one there, is not an issue. And that has been the biggest challenge when it comes to primaries. But now that we have resolved that matter, and then the center for the election, the venue, that one too has been resolved. I can assure you, anybody who wins, the other 4 would definitely support the winner tomorrow.
Is the NDC as a party interested in the internal discussions around a widow running for election when that widow should be observing the IDA, or the party is not interested so far as you're a candidate you go through?
Well, the party relies on its constitution and regulations as approved by the National Executive Committee in running our programs and activities. And this one too is not different. I mean, so this is not the first time we've done that. And we've always made sure that we don't hand over a constituency of that nature to a widow. If you look at the current regional minister of Greater Accra, I mean, when the husband passed on, she has to contest. She went through the primaries and won through the primaries and later on became the MP. I mean, so it's something that the party has done severally before. I mean, so I don't expect that we will bend the rules to say that build this and that, because we rely on the party constitution. And that is why we subjected all of them to go through rigorous vetting process. You can remember that when even the widow applied for virtual vetting, the party functional executives turned it down and said, we don't want to create any precedent that will haunt us in the future. And then so we allowed that. And she came in and herself and participated in the vetting. And everything went on successfully. So for the party, we will always rely with the party constitution and then our regulations as approved by functional executive committee.
Musa Dankwa has done a poll. Is the party interested in the outcome that he has published?
Well, you are asking a referee to look at the strength of footballers, and that one I'll shy away from it. Of course, I wouldn't want to dwell into that because we are referee for tomorrow game, so I don't want to discuss the strengths and weaknesses of the candidates. We'll allow them to do their own work, and then tomorrow we'll be able to whistle well.
Your opponents, the NPP, instead of doing an election, did a selection, ostensibly to deal with all the matters that may arise after a heated contest. Why didn't you select?
Well, my brother, Sandra, you know NDC, we are the most democratic party that you can think of. I mean, we want to give opportunity to everybody who felt that he can pitch himself against the delegates. I know our opponent, they know that they're not going to win. So they wouldn't waste their time going through this process of going through primaries and other things. They know they are not going to win. No matter what the situation, they are just going to show face. This is not an election they should have contested. They should have just stepped aside, like how they ran away from Tamale Central. But they just want to show face. Of course, after that Tamale Central episode, I'm told leadership did not take kindly. They didn't. Party base and supporters did not take kindly with leadership decision on that. So this time they don't want to have another difficulties with their party base. So they just want to show face. Otherwise, I'm just imagining from your 9,000, how can you overturn 22,000 plus? Even with 100% turnout for you people, you will still be 18,000. We'll still be going around the 22,000. We'll still beat them. And so then they see the performance of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama so fantastic. For the 12 months we've been in government, now getting to plus. You can see what is going on in the economy. It's fantastic. 3.8% inflation rate. How can you go and defeat us in an election of this nature? And so that one there, we will go through, allow people to contest, pitch themselves against the delegates, let people show their interest, and then the delegates will decide who should lead them in the constituency.
I also is your stronghold. What will happen tomorrow there may be considered a vote of confidence or otherwise on the government. Would that be fair to say that the turnout would say something to the trust that your people have in you as a party, and also the percentage that you win by is also going to be indicative of how your government is performing? Would it be fair to do that at the end of the polls tomorrow?
Well, that one there, it will be, I'm sure you are referring to the third March contest. Tomorrow is that the delegate.
Forgive me, I'm referring to the third March, yes.
Yes, I'm sure you are referring. For the third March, after tomorrow, you hear from us. We are zooming into the constituency with massive messages. The message that we are going to send to the constituency, we will let the constituency know that the party that they should continue to have faith in is the NDC. That one there, after tomorrow, we've relaxed because we don't want to interfere in the primaries. And so we just want the candidates to do their own thing. That is why crack campaigners of the party have not moved into the constituency yet. We've just reserve our energies and other things. Everybody is holding on. We ask the leadership has asked everybody to hold their horses until tomorrow. When we finish tomorrow, pick our candidate, then you will get to hear from us. From Monday thereabout, that is the time you get to know whether we increase our margins, and then that confidence level, you will see it from us in the constituency.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, and all the best tomorrow.
I'm grateful, Sander.
That's Rashid Tanko Computer, his Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the National Democratic Congress. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll return with more. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
My friends, I'm a very happy man. Let me share my testimony. I needed a home at a prime location, but I didn't have enough money. The little I had was too small to buy even a studio apartment, but a friend of mine introduced me to invest to own from Priority View Homes. I invested the little money I had for only 2 years. True to their word, at the maturity date, I qualified for a 2-bedroom luxury apartment at a prime location in Accra. Now look at me, living in my own home without the usual hassle. If you want a stress-free home to live in, I would advise you to sign up to their investor-owned policy and say cheers to a new home. You may call Priority View Homes Limited on 055-588-2294, 055-588-2294, and you will never regret you did. Priority View Homes. There's no place like home.
This season, get ready to meet the Blacksons.
Meet my lovely family.
We can do that whilst I'm seated and eating. A family where love is strong, secrets are deep, and mischief is a daily routine.
He will be here for days, and I only find out at the family dinner on the day that he arrives.
Just when you think you know them, the truth flips the script. Drama, humor, and unforgettable family moments.
Morning, family.
Everything in my kitchen is actually gone.
You know, in the UK, I work like a donkey, but here, I eat like a monkey.
It's an One TV production. The Blacksons, coming soon, only on Channel One TV.
Thirsty.
Wait, Dad, I'm sure he's gone.
Good morning.
I thought you were gone.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ugomi, and what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, so
this is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open it.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, they make a finish my gobe fast. They rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why you hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Hey, Auntie Akos. My momo is finished, but I still want to buy some pepper.
Hey, you are still stressing. You haven't heard about Extra Balance from Forms Capital?
Extra Balance? Which one is that?
It's a good way to get a small boost for your momo wallet when the pockets are dry. Extra Balance will give you a little extra money to sort yourself out till your next top up.
So, even me, I can use it?
Of course! Extra Balance helps everybody. Market women, students, small traders. No wallet left behind. With Extra Balance from Forms Capital, you get a little extra when your wallet runs low. Also, the interest is only charged for the days you actually use the money. It's part of our mission to drive community growth and financial inclusion, because when everybody can move forward, we all win. Sign up for free on the Momo app, navigate to Financial Services, Advances, and select Extra Balance to register, or dial *170#, select 5, select 3, then select 4 to activate Extra Balance. Live extra with Extra Balance.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, there's some development in the cocoa sector. We had a press conference today by the CEO of Cocoa Board, and we are going to get some reactions. But first, let's hear from the CEO of Cocoa Board, AGB.
The Ghana Cocoa Board is considering a new financing approach for cocoa purchases with a focus on promoting value-added products rather than raw cocoa bean exports. The move comes amid concerns from stakeholders over persistent pricing and financing uncertainties which are affecting operations of licensed buying companies and could impact the farmer payments and Ghana's foreign exchange earnings. Cocoa Board Chief Executive Officer Randy Abe disclosed the plan during a press briefing today.
Value addition. So obviously, we are looking at a model that does not tie our hands with respect to the collateralization of the raw bean. So that obviously is something we are looking at, because we want a funding model that also facilitates or supports value addition. So obviously anything that we try our hands into collateralizing the raw bean is something that we will not look at. Like I said, when we are done, the full details will be made known. But obviously this is on top of the agenda. Now, I have said that we can appreciate the concerns, the pain, the apprehensions, the confusion as far as our dear farmers are concerned. And as I've indicated, I mean, this is an issue that has a multiplicity of factors, and Cocoa Board government and the finance ministry are seriously looking at how to address the issue. So we only ask for a bit more of patience. We can understand what our farmers are dear farmers. What we're asking for is a little bit more patience whilst we find a solution to this particular issue. And we believe that we'll come up with a solution in the interest of everybody, especially our farmers.
Randy Abe is Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board.
Let's speak to Francis Teno. He is President of the Mancron Cocoa Cooperative Farmers Association. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
So your CEO has spoken. Of course, he's talked about value addition, which is something that we've always been talking about, so that we don't just export the raw beans and all of that. But that's beyond you. What is within your remit, which you would be interested in, is he's saying that they have taken note and appreciate the concerns and fears that you have raised. But Cocoa Board, the finance ministry and government generally, is looking for ways to address your issues. And what they are asking for is patience, because they would find a solution to your problem. Does that satisfy you, having listened to the CEO today?
Okay. First of all, thank you for the opportunity. Let me extend my greetings to all cocoa farmers in Ghana. As I said earlier on one of your sister station, Channel 1 TV, this afternoon, we welcome the decision of the CEO. That is what farmers are expecting. Every farmer wanted to get his money at the sell-off point. So the challenges that we went through about 6 weeks ago, it's really affected us. And as I said earlier, a lot of farmers who also have to go to school, and they were having challenges to pay their awards, other fees and items that they need to get for them. And I said this afternoon that with the kind of model we are using, that was imported from the previous government. You see, it shows them. So there is no way this current government has to adopt the same style. That 60-40 and 80-20 is not going to help. If you want to have a sustainable cocoa production in Ghana, then we need to get our finances right. We need to get the money set aside so that from the word go, money will be available throughout the season. That is what farmers are expecting. Adding value is another thing. Adding value doesn't concern farmer. Farmer doesn't have any interest in adding value to our cocoa. Although it's good for the sector that when we add value, it brings more income. And when those incomes increases, it add up to our exchanges and whatever. So what farmers are expecting is a good price, pay them on time, support them to get the necessary inputs for the business. And that is what we expect from the Cocoa Board CEO. And as he continued complaining, we all understand that the challenges were there before NDC came to power. It was created by the previous government. And that is why Ghanaians voted against them. And we were expecting nothing than change. So we are expecting to do something pragmatic within this shortest time. And as they have said today, that they have started releasing funds for LDCs to be able to pay the farmers. We are putting our eyes on ground as I'm speaking. The civil society across all the cocoa producing districts in Ghana, we are monitoring from Monday, Tuesday, because we know transactions in bank take more than 3 days to reflect. So we're hoping that by Tuesday, Wednesday, money should be at all LBC so that farmers will get their produce that they sold on credit and also get money for the new ones that they are sending.
Francis, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you very well.
Educate me. Cocoa Board goes for a loan ahead of the cocoa season so that it can buy from you, the farmers, and then it will sell later. How is it that loan, what they call the syndicated loan, is supposed to deal with the prices that you charge at the farm gate, and so you would have not be having a problem? I mean, the issue of paying cocoa farmers shouldn't have been a problem. How come it is a problem now? Is it the case that we are not doing the syndicated loan, that's why? Or we did the syndicated loan but it's not working?
Exactly. The problem is that when we have the syndicated loan, it will reduce the burden. That pressure on Cocoa Board and government will reduce. Because the kind of money that we use during the purchase is so huge to the extent that sometimes even LBCs, when we go to banks find it difficult to even get money for us, even when we have money in our accounts to withdraw. So if government don't secure that funding, and it's a big money, so maybe the government budget absorbers cannot hold it. And that is why we go for syndicated loan. Syndicated loan is not a problem for any cocoa farmer. And no farmer is saying that government shouldn't go and do syndicated loan. Because government cannot get the finances within the country to purchase cocoa throughout the season.
But have we not gone for syndicated loan this time around?
The problem that came, Omaru, the problem that brought all this is that around 2022-2023 crop season, Cocoa Board went for money that is coming to use to procure cocoa and sell it to them and balance their payment. They took the money, they didn't get them the cocoa, the money too didn't go. 2023-2024 season, the same thing happened. So that is why the third year when they went, Ghana was blacklisted. And for that reason, we couldn't get the syndicated loan. And that brought this 60-40. 60-40 means that the off-taker, the chocolate producing companies, need to bring the money in advance for Cocoa Board to advance those monies to LBCs to buy the cocoa and send it to Cocoa Board. So that when the cocoa is ready, and it's about shipment or during shipment, when they ship, the off-taker will pay the remaining 40% to government. And this is what this has brought this problem. By December, most of these off-takers have already gotten the cocoa that they need. That is one. Two, the price on the world market has increased, dropped significantly. And when the price dropped, currently as I'm speaking, one bag on the world market is around 3,600. And government is also buying one bag at 3,600. There are other costs in the value chain. Haulage, LBC's margin, shared officers that do give the cocoa farmers extension services, quality control division that check the quality of the cocoa. When we go to the research institute, all these people depends on the price that we get from the cocoa. So there are certain margins, there are certain monies that need to be set aside to take care of all these things. When you go to CMC, the off-takers are Tema. They also benefit from the same price. So when you are using all the money from wet market to pay farmers, it means that all this system has been shut down. And when this system shut down, the production will not continue. And for that reason, the only thing maybe Cocoa Board has considered is just to call on farmers so that farmers will understand for them to either reduce the price. Although they wanted to help the cocoa farmers. That is why they don't also want to sell it at the lower price at the wet market. And they still want to bid for higher price for cocoa farmers. This is a situation that cocoa farmers, we are not having that patience. And I can tell you, I'm on a platform for a whole Ghana, and no farmer is ready. Some of the farmers are even saying that, okay, if the price has gone down and government cannot absorb it, and it's so huge that government cannot absorb it. So the best thing is to drop the price. Fine, other political parties will make advantage of it, but that is not what the farmer is looking at. The farmer wants the money to be at the selling point, because if there is no money, as I'm speaking, we are having a lot of challenges in the sector already. Galamsey is eating up all our farmland. The laborers that we used to work with are now working with the Galamseyers, and they are having money. So, for instance, I can hire a labor on my farm, work on my farm, and tell the labor, go, I've sold my cocoa to Cocoa Board, and they are not paying me. When they pay me, come for your money. And you think that labor will come and work on your farm again?
Definitely not.
No, meanwhile, even the price that we are paying to them is lesser than what the illegal miners are paying to them. So now, even we are finding it difficult to get laborers to work on our farm.
We'll continue with this conversation later. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Francis Teno is president of the Macron Cocoa Cooperative Farmers Association. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's talk about 24-hour economy now, shall we, Jubi?
Parliament has passed the 24-Hour Economy Authority Bill 2025 to establish the 24-Hour Economy Authority to drive Ghana's economic transformation. The policy aims to reduce dependence on low-value raw material exports and costly imports. Despite opposition from the minority caucus over concerns of wasteful expenditure, the bill was passed. The Majority Leader, Mahama Ayariga, addressed journalists after the passage.
You will recall that the promise to transform the economy so that the economy will become a major employer, providing jobs and livelihoods for the millions of youth who teamed to vote for the National Democratic Congress, was partly hinged on the implementation of the 24-hour economy model, an economic model that will see the country work 24 hours. And if the country is working 24 hours, it will mean that we need more labor to be able to work the 24 hours. And work will be done in several shifts. It could be 2 shifts, there could be 3 shifts, but there will be several shifts. There will be the shift that will be during the daytime, and there will be the shift that will work during the nighttime. The idea behind it is to create jobs and opportunities for our youthful population.
You heard Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga.
Let's go to the Eastern region, to the capital, Koforidua. Our correspondent is Neonia Mate Kanako. You're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Sandra.
We are receiving reports about a stabbing incident at a school, an inter-school competition. Tell us more.
Yes, I think yesterday, for a week now, there's been some Eastern Regional Inter-School Sports Festival, which is currently ongoing at the Koforidua Resource Center. Now, a number close to 32 schools are taking part in this particular inter-school sports festival, and some of the students are also being housed by some of senior high schools in Koforidua. So we have a report that I think it was a final day for the hockey training, and then we had some disturbances between that students of Koforidua Secondary Technical, that is Koforidua Sectech, and then the New Javan Senior High School, where we heard that the students from New Javan were pelting stones, and unfortunately, one gentleman who was also training at Sectech hockey pitch, who happens to be a student of New Javan Senior High School, got injured in the process. So the student of New Javan thought that it was their own. It was students from Sectech who attacked their students, and yesterday, when the sports was ongoing, one gentleman who was enjoying his wachi some few meters away from the venue, that is around 205, got attacked by students of New Javan just because he was in a Sectech uniform. Now, this unfortunate incident came to the attention of the police, who rushed to the scene and quickly got the injured gentleman to the Eastern Regional Hospital. Now, today, as the event was still ongoing, Sectech managed to qualify for the volleyball final game, and then students who were cheering on started jubilating and then chanting. And students from Nsutem Senior High Technical School, some way, somehow, were not happy about the outcome of the result, and then started pelting stones, also injured student lecturer, a teacher from Sectech, who was also rushed to the hospital. And as we speak now, that teacher has been taken care of. And then the student who was also stabbed in the process and was rushed to the hospital by personnel from the Eastern Regional Police Command has also been treated and discharged. And he currently came back to the school with his father and has been given the exit to go home as we speak now. Standard.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Neoni Amate Kanako, who is our correspondent in the Eastern region. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We have business news coming up next and then Point Blank. Please stay with us.
Be there as it happens.
My friends, I'm a very happy man. Let me share my testimony. I needed a home at a prime location, but I didn't have enough money. The little I had was too small to buy even a studio apartment, but a friend of mine introduced me to invest to own from Priority View Homes. I invested the little money I had for only 2 years. True to their word, at the maturity date, I qualified for a 2-bedroom luxury apartment at a prime location in Accra. Now look at me, living in my own home without the usual hassle. If you want a stress-free home to live in, I would advise you to sign up to their invest-to-own policy and say cheers to a new home. You may call Priority View Homes Limited on 055-588-2294, 055-588-2294, and you will never regret you did. Priority View Homes. There's no place like home.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejubi Wiafe Akente. Let's settle for the details. The Bank of Ghana is urging institutions within the country's credit sector to comply with the mandatory requirements of the credit reporting system. The central bank says the move is aimed at improving credit risk assessment and strengthening financial stability. Here are the details. We do also bring you that report soon, but before that, Universal Merchants Bank UMB has unveiled its revamped mobile platform, the UMB Speed app, as part of its ongoing digital transformation strategy. The redesigned app aims to deliver faster, smarter, and more secure banking services to customers. Speaking at the launch, Head of Business at UMB, Tubo Ofe Ajimai, highlighted that the new app provides a more convenient and secure way for customers to manage their banking remotely.
Transaction is seamless for people. You have now, for example, very few people feel comfortable coming to the branch. So to be able to create that convenience for them, they can transact on the go. And that's how come we came with a very functional app that makes it easy and possible for people to transact. An app that actually works.
Talk to us about some key features of the app, how secure it is, and how customers can know.
Right. Now the app is very secure, right? There are several security features that we have embedded onto the app, right? Now the first bit is that you can actually download the app on the Play Stores or the Android app stores, right? And aside that also, you can enable a biometric feature on the app, right? That makes it, additionally very more secure because you use your Face ID or thumbprint to be able to log in. You also require a password to be able to log in. And then you are required to also set up a transaction PIN as well. So aside the password that you use to log in, you also need the transaction PIN to be able to complete the transaction.
So what has emerged within the digital space has to do with data protection.
That was Head of Business at UMB, Tubo Ofe Ajimai. Now let's go back to our earlier story where the Bank of Ghana is urging institutions within the country's credit sector to comply with the mandatory requirements of the credit reporting system.
The requirement, which now goes beyond banks and traditional financial institutions, apply to an expanded list of entities including telecommunication companies, utility providers, retailers, mobile money operators, financial technology firms, and government institutions that extend credit to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. In a public notice, the central bank reiterated that the expansion is in line with the Credit Reporting Regulations 2020 LI 2394 and builds on earlier directives aimed at deepening credit information sharing across the economy. According to the Bank of Ghana, participation in the credit reporting system will enable lenders and other authorized users to better assess the credit worthiness and repayment behaviors of borrowers while reducing information gaps that often lead to high default risk and elevated lending costs. The central bank maintains that broader compliance will improve transparency in credit markets and support more prudent lending decisions across both financial and non-financial sectors.
Emmanuel Pong filed that report. Away from that, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi Sapon, has revealed that Ghana is currently collecting only about 40% of its value-added tax potential, leaving an estimated 60% uncollected due to non-compliance and systemic inefficiencies. Speaking at the 2026 GRA Top Management Retreat in Sekondi Takoradi, under the theme Transforming the for Impacts and Growth, focusing on people, performance and compliance, he said closing the VAT gap will be central to the authority's strategy to achieve its revenue targets for 2026.
Today, we have a challenge of about VAT gap of about 60%. That means the potential to collect VAT, we are only collecting 40% when you look at it from the reverse form. Similarly, for corporate income tax, our data shows a gap of not less than 80%, which means we are only collecting 20% of our potential. So there's a lot of work for us to do, and there's a lot of potential that we can also harness to achieve our target. In 2026, GRA has been tasked with mobilizing 230 billion to support revenue mobilization and government's agenda. This is an ambitious target, but it's also a necessary one for financing national development, strengthening fiscal sustainability, and supporting government's broader economic agenda. Meeting this target will not be achieved by business as usual.
That was Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Kwesi Sapon. Gassem Limited, a leading cement manufacturer, has launched its latest product, Gassem Super Strong Waterproof Cement. The new cement is designed to prevent seepage and dampness, protect walls and foundations from moisture, and extend their lifespan. Speaking at the launch in Kumasi, Dr. Frank Hooper, Managing Director of Gassem, emphasized the company's dedication to innovation and its core values of quality and reliability.
We will be true to our values of quality. We will be true to our values of reliability and innovation. And we walk the talk when it comes to innovation. Dampness in houses, water problems in houses. Huge problem in Ghana. So really something we as a nation builder should be addressing. And he said, you know what? We have to do something as Gassem. We have to address that. And we looked into the market and we looked at the solutions that were out there. You know, chemical additives in concrete. We tested those in the labs and we were actually quite surprised because the solutions out there didn't really technically solve the problem. Many of the products in the market didn't really fix the problem at all. Some were technically a little bit better, but very cumbersome to use, very expensive to use. So together with the Gassem team, we had a vision. We said before the year's over, we want to have a solution for Ghana. We want to have a product that is technically strong to really fix dampness in the houses.
Dr. Frank Huber is Managing Director of Gassem Limited. The launch event also served to recognize outstanding performance within Gassem's distribution network, with 48 awardees honored for excellence, loyalty, and exceptional contribution. Away from that, Ghana generated approximately 16.7 billion Ghana cedis in domestic revenue from the mining, oil, and gas sectors in 2023, highlighting the extractive industry's continued role in supporting the country's fiscal position. According to preliminary data presented at the launch of the 2023 Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, the revenue came from corporate income taxes, royalties, and dividends. The figures were disclosed by Chief Director of the Ministry of Finance and Co-Chair Dr. Patrick Numo during the launch of the reports covering Ghana's mining, oil and gas sectors in Accra.
These contributions accounted for roughly 7% of total government revenues, reflecting the sector's ongoing importance to our fiscal planning regime. Furthermore, official transfers from extractive activities to sub-national administrations reached 1.8 billion cedis, supporting local development initiatives and infrastructure projects across the country. On the external side, the sector contributed a net foreign exchange inflow of $3.9 billion in 2023, bolstering the balance of payment position of the country and supporting currency stability. The Ministry of Finance continues to track these flows closely as they inform reserve adequacy assessments and monetary policy calibrations. From an institutional perspective, the 2023 report saw notable improvements in compliance reporting. Over 94% of registered extractive companies submitted timely returns, and reconciliation coverage across the two sectors exceeded 97%.
Co-chair of Ghana Extractive's Industry Transparency Initiative, Dr. Patrick Numo. Group CEO and co-founder of Telecel, Mo Damush, has urged African governments to streamline cross-border payment systems to enable small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, to fully engage in intra-African trade. He emphasized that simplifying financial transactions across borders is critical to unlocking the continent's economic potential and ensuring that smaller businesses are not left behind. Speaking at the African Prosperity Dialogue Day 3 in Accra, Mo Damush highlighted that SMEs are the backbone of Africa's economies, playing a pivotal role in driving employment and innovation.
Through the expansion of cross-border payment corridors for cross-border payments, we become enablers of regional integration, resilience, and inclusive economic growth. We recommend governments, regulatory bodies to ease cross-border payments to allow more trade for SMEs through mobile money. Empowering innovation through initiatives by the Telecel Foundation, like the Digital Academy and Start to Code for Education, are equipping the youth and foundational and advanced digital skills, inspiring confidence and opening pathways into STEM education and technology careers.
You heard Group CEO and co-founder of Telecel, Mo Damush. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejubi Wiafe Akinti. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hey, Andrea. Challenge these days, new level crowd. Where did you pass?
Me, pass somewhere. I just switched for a better life. Hey. I switched for comfort. Look, your salary deserves better.
Switch?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
I switched my salary account to Fidelity Bank.
Oh, okay.
And that's my jackpot. I get higher loan amounts with lower interest rates, as well as personalized financial support. They gave me a loan to expand my side hustle, and the terms are just flexible.
Wow.
Your salary deserves better.
Oh, my salary deserves better, Pa. You see the way you are smiling wide? Yes, I will switch and smile wider.
Your salary deserves better. Switch to Fidelity Bank today and enjoy lower interest rate, car and home loan, personalized financial support, and a smile that lasts. Switch and smile wider. Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
If I believe with us, Fidelity. If I know I need your side, Fidelity.
Oh, jump on now. Go, go. Go me. And what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action no. Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi93, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Omaru Sandamar. So tonight on Point Blank, we are going back to the issue of Cocoa Board. Earlier, you heard me speak to Francis Turner, president of the Mancron Cocoa Cooperative Farmers Association. Yesterday, you also heard from Jerome Autry of the Cocoa Board. Tonight, I want you to listen to Randiabe, Dr. Randiabe, he's CEO of Cocoa Board. He called the press today to tell the side of Cocoa Board story in relation to these cocoa matters. Listen.
A lot of the agitation from our dear farmers about unpaid produce that they have sold to the license buying companies who buy cocoa on behalf of Cocoa Board, and also beans that they have available which has not been purchased. We are fully aware of the issues that are going on, and we appreciate very seriously the concerns raised by the farmers and what the farmers are going through. We also appreciate the concerns raised by the license buying companies in terms of liquidity and all that. And Cocoa Board, the Ministry of Finance and Government are working together to find a solution to this issue as quickly as possible. The truth of the matter is that we have some liquidity challenges, and as you may be aware, contrary to what some people might make you believe, the crop is financed by buyers. That has been the case from the 24-25 season, when we crashed out of the syndicated loan scheme. Under the syndicated loan, which went on for about 32 years, Cocoa Board will sign contracts for the supply of raw beans and then use these contracts as collateral to take the syndicated loans from banks, foreign banks. And then when this loan hits Cocoa Board's account, then Cocoa Board will also, out of these funds, give out seed money to the license buying companies to buy the cocoa from the farmers on behalf of Cocoa Board. However, Cocoa Board started having some serious financial challenges in 2022, when Cocoa Board was unable to service both the interest and principal of the cocoa bills, and therefore asked for a restructuring of the bills. So there was no wonder that in 23-24, for that season, Cocoa Board struggled in getting the syndicated loan. For the first time, for those of you who followed the Licobac press conference yesterday, you heard them speak about how the first amount of money they received was on the 26th of January in 2024, when the season opened in September of 2023. So that told you that the financial community had become aware of what cocoa board situation was, and there was some reluctance in financing the crop. I mean, at the end of the day, cocoa board even had to rely on the Ministry of Finance for a $70 million bridge financing to be able to purchase the crop in that same year, and that is a loan that we're expected to pay. So no wonder that was also the season that cocoa board could not supply 333,767 tons of the crop that it has signed contracts to supply, and had sold the crop at 2,600. And I'm giving you just this background to put things in context, so that when today some people who were part of this process or superintended this process and believe that we have short memories and therefore can come and capitalize on an unfortunate situation, we should be able to let them know that they are the reason for why we are where we are. And so in the 24-25 season, the financial community was not willing. And that is how come the syndication failed. And because these buyers had close to 400,000 tons, low price at 2,600, it made sense for them to finance the crop so that whilst they buy new ones, we can also service the $2,600 low price contracts. Of course, at the time when cocoa was selling for 10,000, 11,000, 9,000, it made sense to finance the crop when you have contracts of $2,600. Even if we were going to cost you twice, it made sense. So when we came into office, we realized that this was the financing arrangement. But it was clear to us that this financing arrangement was not something that was thought through or was a strategy or something. It was something that came out of the situation that we found ourselves in. And obviously, when these low price contracts are extinguished or serviced largely, the appetite to finance the crop will no longer be there. Nobody will want to take care of your financing cost when indeed they do not have nothing to gain from it. So we took steps to begin to look at a more sustainable financing option. I mean, cocoa board will be 80 years next year. Up until 1992, the government of Ghana was largely providing the funding of the crop. That also became unsustainable, and that is where the option of the syndicated loan came up, and that also had gone on for close to 32 years until we started having problems with, first of all, 2022 declaring that, look, we could no longer fulfill our commitments under the cocoa bills, and therefore we're restructuring. Immediately you do that, you're sending a certain signal to the public that I can't pay my bills. It's just like the DDP. So that is what happened. And so no wonder 2023 we saw a near collapse of the syndication. So we, together with the Ministry of Finance and Government, have been thinking through a new funding model. A funding model which also will not make us be obligated to sell our beans raw, because under the syndication you would have to sign contracts for the raw beans, and that is what you use as a collateral. And therefore, if for example you were going to do 600,000 tons and you were committing 500,000 tons to sell to buyers as raw beans, how can you in the same breath be speaking about value addition when you know that you're committing about 70-75% of your crop to go as raw beans? Meanwhile, you're also touting 500,000 processing capacity, and you know very well that on the basis of what you have signed up to and the beans that you're expected to deliver, you will not have beans to even service the processing capacity that you're speaking about. So you are in one breath speaking about value addition, but your actions do not support that value addition, because by virtue of the funding model that you had, you are virtually taking your raw beans out, and there's then very little for processing. And so we've been thinking through a new funding model, and very soon, once we are done with it, I'm sure that the Honorable Finance Minister will make an announcement to that effect. But we had targeted to start this new funding model from the 26-27 season, because we knew that this funding model will not go beyond 25-26, especially when we are able to service most of the rollovers, if not all. And so we had been preparing for a new funding model for 26-27. Unfortunately, the prices have come crashing. And so what is happening is that our cocoa at the current price is too expensive for the buyers. And it is the buyers who are financing the crop under this model. So you are selling your crop at 6,400 to them. And the crop is currently being traded for $4,000 or below $4,000. So why would they buy your crop? Because we pay the farmer $5,040. That's the farmer's share, $5,040 US. And if you check, and I'm sure all of you do that on a daily basis, the crop is currently at 4,000. So how do you buy a crop? How do you, as a buyer, buy a crop at, let's say, $6,000 when the crop is actually trading at $4,000 or below? So the situation we have is that you have the buyers now moving to other markets where the prices are competitive, and that is why you would hear issues of we have beans they are not buying, or we give them the beans and we have not been paid, because now the LBCs who have even taken some of the beans do not have off-takers, because the LBCs, when they take the beans has to be taken up by buyers who are financing the crop. Now these buyers now consider your bean too expensive at this point. Just to emphasize that as I speak to you, we have sold over 530,000 of the crop. We have another under 50,000 that we are yet to find buyers for, and that is when the buyers started shifting. So there's a high possibility that for many of the farmers who complain that they have not been paid for their beans, the beans could be in this category. And then for those who also complain that their beans are not being bought, it is also because the buyers now find our beans as too expensive, and therefore they have shifted, because these are business decisions. And so we have been consulting widely with our sector ministry, the Ministry of Finance, and then government itself. And like I said, we appreciate what the farmers are going through. We know that these are very, very difficult times, but we appeal that they keep faith with us. We would find a solution very, very soon, and we'll be able to then deal with all these issues. But just to I'm just explaining all these things for us to appreciate why we are where we are, and to say that we really, really, really we are not doing anybody a favor. I mean, it is their sweat. They deserve to get their money. They work hard for it. We will ensure that they get exactly that. But this is the situation that we are dealing with. And just to put things in perspective, look, in 24-25, when the price was set in September, the exchange rate that was used was 16 cedis. 16 cedis against the $3,100. We all know what happened in 2025 when the exchange rate dipped to the low of the tens. Yet, we maintained the price. Government and Cocoa Board maintained the price. And it's just to show you that the farmers' welfare and the betterment of the farmer is at the heart of what government and Cocoa Board resolves to do all the time. Even this current one, you recall that the first time we fixed the price, an exchange rate of 10.25 was used, and then we later revised it to 11.5. The exchange rate remained at 11.5 for not more than 2 weeks, and it dropped to 10 point something. The price was not revised downwards for that period. All this means a lot of under recoveries or debts, as far as cocoa board is concerned. And this is not to make excuses, but it's just to put things in perspective and to assure the farmers that we understand what is happening fully. We're working hard to find a solution. We'll find a solution as quickly as possible. I would not want to say a bit more on this, because right after this press conference, we even have a meeting with the farmer groups. And at that meeting, we would go into a lot of details. And so it will not be even proper to divulge some of these things even before we meet them. So that will be on the bit of the current situation that we have with respect to we've sold our cocoa, we have not received money, and then our cocoa is not being bought. This is the situation, and this is why we are where we are. But we're working assiduously, and we expect to come up with a solution as soon as possible. And so we would ask all stakeholders to exercise a little bit of restraint and patience, and that we'll find a solution very soon, and then get out of the kind of situation that we find ourselves in. So that will be on the bit of the current situation. Now, there are also some issues that have come up, and also because I say that this also marks 1 year and 2 weeks of me being in office, I need to also speak about what has happened over the last 1 year, especially what we met and how we're trying to get out of it. But I see that there is some news that appears to be hot news, so to speak. And that has to do with, I think, a post by a former employee of this company. And that has gone viral, and everybody is speaking about it. I see that people have even done videos with it. And the post I saw said that at a time when farmers are not being paid, Cocoa Board has bought 4 Land Cruisers and 110 pickups. So clearly, you can tell the intent of this post to incite farmers, to create the impression that the money that should be used to pay farmers is being used to purchase vehicles. And they even state that the vehicles have been bought for regional directors and district directors. Meanwhile, anybody who's worked here before is expected to know better, and I've explained to you about the fact that this crop is being funded by buyers. So it's not even as if we are even taking a syndicated loan, and we are using the loan to go and buy vehicles. But let me address the issue. It is true that we have ordered vehicles. Some of them have started, some of them have been delivered. So on your way here, you would have seen some new pickups. I think about 20 something. Yeah, 20 of them have been delivered. So it's supposed to be 22 because it is one of them, the very first one. That is what we gave out as the award to the National Best Cocoa Farmer on the Farmers' Day. Is one of them. And then, for those who have also been following, the Bunsu Cocoa College anniversary, the pickup that was given to the college is also one of those ones that were ordered. But let me tell you what the issues are. When I assumed office in January of last year, I was informed that I was entitled to 2 official vehicles. And that is the policy here at Cocoa Board. A cross-country vehicle, or what people commonly refer to as 4x4, a Land Cruiser, and then a saloon vehicle. That is what is assigned to the chief executive and also the deputy chief executives. Now, there was no official vehicle for the chief executive when I assumed office. No official vehicle for the chief executive. No saloon car, no Land Cruiser.
Dr. Randy Abe there. He's CEO of the Cocoa Board. Ending tonight's edition of Eyewitness News, which came to you from our studios in Accra. I am Umaru Sandamado. I did this with the Jubi Wiafia Kenton. Produced by Juliana Odami Asari, Bevelyn London, Sami Wiafi, Fretete Jabano, and Kwabena Wilson. Yamano Lati helped us with the technical production. And we got new media support from the digital media team of 97.3 Citi FM. We're back on Monday at 17:30 GMT. But if you want more news, at 8 p.m. tonight, Channel 1 Television, CNR with Nana Tufo Boatin. And tomorrow at 9 a.m., the big issue on 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV with my very good self. Up next, leave in the hands of the Liverpool supporter who is wearing Manchester City jersey, but in his heart supports Arsenal. Benjamin Ketia with the City Sports team. Stay with us for Sports Panorama.